I'm gonna name players. You tell me if they're not good anymore,
Okay.
because there's been some incredible performances this year. I'll name a player. You tell me if he's still good or not. Jalen
Okay.
Hurts. It looks like
Jalen
he's throwing a 5-pound block of concrete, dude. It looks so hard for him to throw. I don't want to know what happened to him.
There's something broken in their offense. Now, I don't know if it's him or if it's AJ Brown, if it's their line, if it's Saquon, if it's the coordinator, but their offense is broken. He looks like a guy who doesn't want to throw it in the middle of the field and doesn't want to throw it down the field. He looks like he's gone from this kind of gutsy tough guy to captain check down, afraid of his own shadow. I think Hurts stinks. The people that were telling me a couple years ago that Hurts is way better than Purdy, you're all wrong. Okay. I think Hurts is hugely overrated. I think at some point, I'll make this prediction right now. I don't know when it's going to be. It's probably not going to be this year. Probably going to be next year. At some point, Hurts is going to get hurt. They're going to put Tanner McKee in there, and Tanner McKee is going to show them that he's better than Hurts, and then they're going to trade Hurts, and they're going to
I
go with
wouldn't be
Tanner
surprised,
McKee.
yeah, if he gets run out of town the way Carson Wentz did, and he gets full credit for his 2 Super Bowl performances and
Yeah.
his Super Bowl MVP. He's got a great resume, hell of a career, but I think he kinda sucks now. I don't know what happened. I don't know if he had an injury or the league just caught up to him or the offensive coordinator doesn't do him any favors, but I think, if they were to put in Tanner McKee, I wouldn't be surprised if the offense was better with
Well, you know
Jalen
what
Hurts.
he doesn't do? He doesn't rip it. Like, if you talk to Brock and say, "Hey, man, sometimes can you grip it and rip it?" He's picturing, okay, I got to rip it. There was a play in the end of the game, in the last drive, in the Chargers Philly game, where Hurts drops back to pass and just ripped an absolute seed to Devontae Smith for a first down on 3rd and long. It was like 3rd and 15. He connected with Devontae for like 28, and he absolutely ripped it right in the middle of the field. But it's the kind of throw that he doesn't make anymore. And then, 2 plays later, Cam Hart tips the ball, and Jefferson picks it off, and it's ball game, and the Chargers win. That really wasn't Hurts' fault, I didn't think. But Hurts just will not rip it in the middle of the field. He's very hesitant.
Okay, I got another name for you. Is this guy still good? Lamar Jackson.
Um, I don't know what to say about Lamar Jackson. He's not playing well, and he's not old.
He's not. He's not the
Um,
running threat he used to be. Maybe he's still kinda hurt, but they don't run him as much anymore.
I just think their entire equation is kind of bogging down when you think of the Ravens. I mean, so they're a bully team, right? They got to get a big lead on you, and then they got to pound Derrick Henry and Keaton Mitchell or whoever. But I mean, I just think that their offensive line's not quite as good. I think they're in decline. I think the John Harbaugh run there is ended. I think in the offseason, they're going to wind up losing Linderbaum in free agency. He's going to leave. That line's going to get worse. Their weapons, they just re-signed Mark Andrews to an extension, and that means they're going to let Isaiah Likely walk away in free agency. I think the Ravens have been a really well-run organization, great GM. But I think John Harbaugh is going to hang it up. I don't know if he's going to hang it up this year or be forced to in a year, but he's at the end.
I mean, in 2019, he rushed for 80 yards a game. Last year, he rushed for 53 yards a game. This year, it's 30. So I don't know. Maybe he's 28. Mobile quarterbacks don't necessarily last as long, but I'm concerned about Lamar Jackson. And final guy, this might be the most controversial.
He's sub
Patrick
500 in the
Mahomes.
playoffs, by the way.
Patrick Mahomes.
Um, and once again, I mean, the Chiefs are just stale. They're just old. Kareem Hunt's old, Kelsey's old. They're just not that effective. We just saw. I mean, we ripped on Mac Jones for how he looked against Houston. He looked better against Houston than Mahomes. He looked better against Houston than Mahomes did. So, um,
He
you know,
did.
I,
He looked
yeah,
better against Houston than Josh Allen did.
yeah. Houston made Mahomes look really bad. So I don't know. I tend to think that Mahomes is only 30, right?
He
But you know
can't
what?
throw down the field anymore. I mean, that's him. Now, he doesn't have Tyreek Hill anymore, but, like, when he throws down the field, it seems like it's way overthrown or way underthrown, which is mind-boggling because he used to be the best.
It football doesn't last for long. Now, I mean, for every Tom Brady who plays till 46, there's a Russell Wilson who was a Hall of Famer in his 20s and forgettable in his 30s. And it's like Patrick Mahomes has had the advantage of the greatest continuity in the league in this era. Between the same, he's got the same head coach, same special teams coach, same defensive coordinator, same everything. I mean, they've had so much continuity, and they play in this lousy division. And yeah, last year they played a bunch of tough games and then got their doors blown off by a way better team in the Super Bowl. And this year they're just losing. And I just feel like Andy Reid's at the end. I don't think
That's
Mahomes
what
is
I
at
was
the
gonna
end.
say.
I
He's
think Andy
almost
Reid's at the end.
70. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
he's at the end.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where's
It's a
the
young man's
creativity in their
game, man.
offense?
It's a total young man's game. And there's no
Yep.
guarantee that you are some guys are like Brady. Brady was a better athlete at 35 than he was when he came into the league. He was just a bigger, stronger athlete, better, quicker, worked on his body, all the eating right. I mean, he had incredible longevity, but there's no guarantee you get longevity. Russell Wilson was awesome in his 20s. Russell Wilson is no longer awesome. And how old is Russell Wilson? 33? 34?
No, he's about
Is he more? Is he
he's
older?
older than that. He's about 30, 35.
Okay, but I mean,
About
he's
35.
been bad for
Yeah.
3 years,
Yep.
and it's like so like, should he be? I mean, Mahomes is 30. I mean, technically, he should have 10 more years ahead, but you kind of get the feeling that he benefited greatly from having so much coaching talent around him and personnel. And as it erodes, he's going to have to shoulder the load. And I don't know if he's capable. It appears that he's not capable of shouldering the entire load.
One more guy, and this isn't whether he's not good anymore because he's really good, but he had a moment last night, and it was interesting. You tweeted about it, and I agreed. Justin Herbert got his ass kicked last night, won the game, 7 sacks, broken hand. After the game, Laura Rutledge goes up to talk to him because, like, it's the NFL and he's the quarterback of the team that won. And he like actually tries to walk away and say, I don't want to do it. He's on live television and Laura, God love her, just sticks with it and is like, no, I'm asking you my question. And he like a little petulant child, kind of like,
Yeah.
okay, and answers the question in this like perfunctory, rushed way. He came across, I don't know, like a real jerk. What do you think of Justin Herbert?
Very, very talented. I mean, God knows he's a huge talent, but there's something that's not a winner about him. I mean, he was terrible in that game. I mean, they won in spite of him, not because of him. Now, granted, he was sacked 7 times. His hand is beat up. He looks like he's playing in a lot of pain, but this guy doesn't look. I mean, I'll say this, man. Part of being the leader is having that mental maturity. The NFL quarterbacks, I think the most underrated aspect of NFL quarterbacks is their intelligence. You have to be really, really, really smart. And part of being really, really smart is having mental maturity. Just ask yourself, would Brock Purdy have done that? Would Steve Young have done that? Would
Mac
Alex
Jones
Smith
have
have
done
done
that.
that? Would Mac Jones have done that? No, 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 and no. And would Joe Nobody would have
Because
done
we
that
know because
because
we've seen them not do that. Like, Justin,
right.
is
And
this your first time in this situation? Is this new to you?
I mean, we had the other day we asked Brock Purdy so many questions about his toe and
Toe.
his motion and his failure in the last game and his turnovers. And dude, do you think he likes sitting there answering questions from guys who don't play in the league and can't do what he does? And no, but he's a pro, dude. He's a total pro, and he shows no anger at Larry Krueger. He shows no frustration with Grant Cohn. He shows no discontent with
Ever.
Matt Mayoko. He
Ever.
is a pro, and
Yep.
there's an old saying: "You are who you are when nobody's looking." And I almost felt like, even though we were all looking right there at Herbert, I kind of felt like we were getting who he really is because it was like he didn't realize we were all looking at him. I felt like we
And
were
it's like
getting kind of like live mic, like the
it's not
video
just how he
equivalent.
treats Laura Rutledge in the media. I think
No,
it also kind of shows that he's sort of like antisocial, standoffish. I wonder how he treats a lot of the players on his own team. He seems like the kind of guy that like you don't have to worry about him from a physical standpoint. He can make all the throws. He's tough. He'll be out there. But from a leadership standpoint, does he give you anything? anything. How do you? Because football is such an emotional game. How do you get behind him? I think that's why they need Jim Harbaugh because he has all that. You know, I don't know what you would
I mean,
call
just
it.
look at last night's game. Look at last night's game. If that had been the opposite, if the Chargers had lost 22-19 and Laura Rutledge had to chase down Hurts, would Hurts have done that,
No.
or would he have absolutely stopped and talked and been gracious? And Hurts would have been a pro.
Yep.
That's all we're saying. Just
The
be a
the last
pro.
quarterback that I remember that would act like that to me, and I don't know if he did, but he had it in him was Kaepernick. And I don't think it's a coincidence that both were coached by Harbaugh. Now, I feel like Herbert's been like this since Oregon, but there's something about Harbaugh who like almost enables quarterbacks to be this way. Like, yeah, forget the media. But then Harbaugh's so good with the media. I feel like he's a bad mentor in that way.
Well, I mean, hey, you know what? I'm in the media, but I'm all for you want to give the media the Heisman stiff arm, go for it. But there's a right and wrong time to even do that. This is a paid deal. Do we
Yeah.
really believe that Laura Rutledge is this greatest reporter and she randomly gets this? Is Lisa Salters just dogged? No, it's set up in the contract.
Yeah.
She parks herself at the 35 and they bring the guy over. Now, sometimes the guys, and he's like, I want to celebrate with my teammates. Dude, is this your first game? I mean, is this your first rodeo? Act like
It's
you've
not
been
Oregon
there.
anymore, buddy. Sorry. You
And
got to
this
do
isn't,
this.
if you were a rookie and this was your first game, I get it. I wouldn't even say anything. I'd just be like, oh, dude, he's a rookie, he doesn't get it. This is written into the contract. I guarantee you. They're not talking because they like it. And the ESPN's not asking those questions because they want him. It's in the contract. That's why it's
I
done.
just think this is the kind of stuff that people projected onto Shadur Sanders. And this is the kind of stuff that like the reason he fell in the draft because people thought he would do things like this. If he ever did this, it would be such a huge deal. Justin Herbert did it. I'm glad that people were upset about it online. Like just because he's this quiet kind of goof from Southern California doesn't mean we don't have to. He's not under scrutiny because he is, and that was bullshit. And he could be the face of the NFL if he didn't act like that. But I guess this is who he is.
And you know what? That young lady had a job to do. You know what? I mean, it's like the same reason that she doesn't bolt into your film session and demand, a one-on-one interview. Why? Because you have a job to do.
Mm.
And she has a job to do, and anybody with any common sense, and he knows better. This is not a guy that didn't know better. He knew better. He knew she's got a job to do. She had to run like 10 yards and chase him down. Now that's kind of normal, but still, it's like it's a bad look. And it's funny. I had people calling me a bitch for complaining about, oh, you're, blah, blah, blah. It's like, hey, man, I'm going to call out. I'm going to give you my honest opinion all the time. Let's just get used to that. And it's I'm not pro
It
team
overshadowed the game.
and
It
I'm not
overshadowed
anti
it. All he had
team
to
and I'm
do
not
was be a
pro
gentleman.
player. Yeah, I mean, just
All he had to do was be a gentleman, but he wasn't. And so that little 30 seconds overshadowed the whole game because the game sucked. Sorry. Good job. I wanted to see Trey Lance.